What's up, y'all? It's your barber girl T Fire the Barber, and welcome back to another fade on the Faded Room. I apologize, y'all, for having to leave, but I had enrolled back in school, finishing up my senior year and graduating with my bachelor's, and I recently moved, so that took some time out of me, but we're back. I'm back now doing our videos, and thank you guys for waiting and being patient with me. So let's get right into this cut. As you guys know, we're going to clear out the hair so we can know exactly where we're at, making sure all the hair is laid in the position that it's supposed to naturally fall. And then we're going to go ahead and start our first guideline, which is going in with our outliners and creating our first bald line. As you guys can see right here, that nice, sharp, clean, crispy lines that we're getting right now. Keep it tool sharp, y'all. But yeah, let's get back into it. We're going to create our first guideline all the way around the head, so we could start into this fade. One thing I want to mention before we even start into this fade is his hair grows at different directions. So while we're fading, you guys are going to see we're going to be able to go at different angles because all his hair doesn't lay straight down. They go at an angle in certain part of his head, around the right corner of behind his ear, goes at a different direction. So you guys are going to see that a little bit later on. Here we are, just cleaning out our area, making sure this area is nice, clean, and smooth, and just waiting to be transitioned into our next step of this fade. And here we are going into our next step. We're going with our clippers, lever all the way closed, and just creating that blend between the ball fade and into our next step, which is going to be the clipper all the way open. Like I said, you guys should know at this point, this is just so we could get a better transition into our fade. As you guys can see, it doesn't really look like anything, but this plays a big part later on in this fade. And just a quick side note, you guys, I got my opportunity to teach my first class a week ago, which was really, really great. You guys are going to see that into the next video that I drop. But here we are going back with our number 2, and this is, as you guys know, when we go up all the way like that, we're debulking some of this area just so we can know exactly where we're at, and we don't have to deal with all of this here when we go into our next step. And here we are, we're still all the clipper all with the lever all the way closed here. I just had to stop just to make sure I debulk the area so that we know exactly where we're at, and we're doing the same thing, you guys. We're just going up about less than ½ an inch just to get a really, really good transition throughout this whole haircut. And here we are, we're going into our next step, which is the clipper all the way open, creating our next guideline, going up about 1 inch and making sure that transition blend. And this is the area that I was telling you guys about. That area pretty much goes at a slanted area, so we got to make sure we keep our guide still the same, but make sure we account for the fact that the hair at this position is slanted, so it might not come off the first try. So as you guys can see, I keep going back and making sure I take off as much hair as possible at that point. Fade one, brush one. That's the saying that keeps going around, and you guys, it's true. Just fade one, brush one, just to make sure you guys are all of us actually are in the position to see where the hair lies, where the hair naturally lies, what still needs to be taken off, if we still need to go back and clean it up. And like you guys know, I always go back and clean it up one more time to get the cleanest area as possible to work with. Now we're going to go back in with the lever halfway closed and knock that guideline out that we created. As you guys can see right here, it's blended out pretty smoothly. I'm going with the corners of my blade behind his ear because the hair grows at a slant, we can't just go with it straight because it's going to create a dent or cut off more hair than I would like. So I just go in with the corner of the blade and just knock that area out. As you guys can see, it's blending pretty nicely, smoothly, easily. Just adjust to the area that you guys are at in the head. You can use your clipper however you want to. You don't always got to go with it straight, and you guys should know that too at this point. But I'm gonna keep saying it. whatever part of the head. The left side, as you guys can see right here, is easier for me to go with it a little bit straighter because that side of the head comes straight down, which is different from the right side of the head. And as you guys can see in this area, we're just detailing, making sure this area is blended really, really nice for us to go back into our next part of this fade, which is the number 1, all the way open. And we're gonna go up about 1 inch and knock that area out. As you guys can see, we're pretty much cleaning up that area right there. And our transition, our blend is coming together. We're not there yet, but it's coming together really nice and perfectly, you guys. If you need to go over the area multiple times, don't be afraid to go over the area multiple times. Trying to get as clean of a canvas as you can every time you're in that area. It might take a little bit more time, but you do less work later on when you got to come back in and blend it out. So here we are doing the same thing. We're going in, creating that guideline all the way around the head with the number 1. And like I mentioned, you guys, you see behind that ear, I'm going in with the corners of that blade. I'm not going in with it flat on the right hand side. And that's for a purpose. It's so we don't cut the other part of the hair at the top that has way more bulk, and just so that area doesn't come out real choppy and gonna give us way more work to do later on, as opposed to this left side of the head where you're able to go straight up. Now we're gonna go back in again with the number 2, all the way open, and clean that area out. Keep debulking, 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 because that's as high as we're gonna go. I know the fade is looking a little crazy right now, you guys, but just keep trusting the process. Eventually, all of this is going to come together. All the work you put in so far is going to come together later on, and you're going to see how this really transitions. But here we are just, you know, going ahead and debulking the area. Then we're going to go back with our number 1, halfway close, and now we're going to blend out that guideline that we created with the number 1 all the way open. At this point, we're going to go with it halfway closed, but also you can move the lever down all the way to where it's closed just to make sure you blend out every single little hair possible. So don't be afraid to play with your lever, you guys. Play with it, go up and down just to make sure you're blending that area as nicely and as smoothly as possible. And whatever you don't get, you always know you're going to go back in with a guard that is lower than the one that you are currently have on your clippers. And here it is, you guys. We're going lower because we don't take off every single hair that we can with that number 1. Now we're going in with our half and just detailing. We're tapping in, using that corner and making sure we're detailing that area to make sure our fade look as smooth as possible. That's our goal. We want to make sure this blend is butter, y'all. And as you can see so far, to this area, to this height, this fade is coming out pretty good. It's looking butter, it's looking blended, and we just keep doing that work. Like I said, you do the work now, it's gonna pay off later. And that's with life too. You put in the work now, you get the results later. That's how it works. It's no different with your fade. Put in the work and trust the process. And here we are, just going on our left side, doing the same thing, using our corners, blending this area out. And we're getting a pretty great fade so far. After this, we're going to go back in with our number 1 and just detail any little thing that we need right here. We're blending that number 1 also with that number 2 that we have on top. Yeah, this might look like we're going backward, you guys, but also I've been cutting this person hair for a while, so I know what's needed. Like, you could do one process one way, but you could also come back and do the same process again just to get the results that you're looking for. Sometimes it's not just A, B, and C. Sometimes you got to go to C to come back to A. You know, just be creative and learn how the head work that you're fading, you guys. And here it is. We're just, you know, tapping on that area, blending that area. It's not really a guideline we're creating because we already debulked that area with the number 2. We're just going ahead and blending that number 2 with the number 1 guard. That's all we're doing at this point right here, making sure there's no dark areas. And you guys see I'm going in. This is just detailing. It's not even creating a guideline. We're just detailing that dark area out, using the corner of our glaze in certain areas right here on the right hand side, and using our corners because he also has a dent in this area of his head. It's not just rounded like the left side. And this is the number 2, and we're just going back in and just making sure we clean up that area. And as you guys can see, that dark area is just coming together and blended. We also want to keep that little dark area from where the top of the head transitioned into this fade. We don't want it to just be completely bald in that area. We want to keep some type of level of transition, so some type of darkness is required, especially for this haircut. Now we're going to move into the hairline area. As you guys can see, he has access hairline area, which is he has a widow's peak in the front. He does not like to keep that widow's peak. I try to keep his hairline as close as I can, but also getting rid of a part of that widow's peak. Now we're going to use the number 1 and, you know, debulk this area, just because the size of his temples, the corners of his hairline is a little bit lighter, so we try to take down that dark area to match those 2 corners as much as we can. I try not to take it too dark because he does use enhancements, so we're going to be able to enhance those 2 corners, but also I don't want the middle to be super dark and then the sides are not as dark. So we just try to find a happy medium in both, and to be able to give him the best looking hairline as possible. As you guys can see right here on the left hand side up to where his hairline is, you can see that area is really a thinner area, so we got to compromise for that. And hairline, you guys already know the hairline requires preparation. You guys, preparing the hairline is the most important thing, especially when you want to give them that crispy hairline. Like one of my friends would say, he's gonna get a crispy hairline. He's from the Bay Area. But yeah, you know, you see now you could see that area that I said was a little bit thinner. But as preparing the hairline, you can see all that hair laid down, so we don't really have to cut so much deep into his hairline when we go ahead to give him that crispy hairline. We're pretty much just trying to match the middle to both the sides. So in this sense, I usually don't start in the middle of his hairline. I start from the corners and go and match it into the middle, just so I know that it's going to be an even hairline all the way around. Most of the times, I would match it from the middle to the end. I'm sorry, you guys, for not getting this hairline. I apologize for my camera dying and not being able to capture this part of the hairline of me creating it, because this would have been a really great learning experience. But as you guys can see, his widow's peak is gone a bit, but also at the end when I show you the rest of this, you're gonna tell that the sides came in and matched the front. We didn't go from the middle all the way out to the sides. And that's how you have to adjust throughout your haircut. Look at what you're assess what you're looking at and see how you can work around it. Not every single haircut that you come in, walk in the door is going to be perfect. So it's up to us, our job, to be able to adjust in the moment and creating what the client wants. Right here, as you guys can see, the size is a little lighter, but we enhanced it and we make sure we kept it at the lowest point possible to blend it. And here we are, the end of this haircut, as you guys can see, is blended, but when you lift it up, it has a darker theme to the top, so it's not just a bald transition to dark top. There's a very good transition to it, and his hairline is crispy. He does not like his beard at the moment lined up because he is growing it out. And that is the end of this haircut. I hope you guys were able to pick up something, some type of gem from this video. So on the next faded room, here we are. This is gonna be the next fade for you guys. I hope you guys stay tuned. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on post notifications so you can get notified when another video is dropped. It's your barber girl, T Fire the Barber, and I'm out.